I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a request from Joseph. Thank you so much for that. For those who want to request any other topics or reactions, reviews, re-reviews, anything random, anything out of the blue, or even just a simple donation, or anything in between, feel free to send either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things down below in the info box. And I just noticed, yeah, this is a shirt that I was painting and I couldn't get the stuff off. So it's permanently stained, but I'm not going to throw away. This is a good shirt. Yeah, it's got a stain on it. See, I'd rather talk about this than Tom and Jerry. That just shows how much. And this isn't even the worst film I've seen this week, because I saw Coming to America 2, and that film pissed me off more than this. Because this, I kind of knew what kind of movie it was. Coming to America 2, I knew it would be bad, or I had a guess, but I didn't think it'd be that bad, because I didn't know it would have Eddie Murphy getting fucking date raped as a joke. That character in the first movie got date raped. Here, it's not like Tom date raped Jerry, or Jerry date raped Tom. Although that'd be a very different, even weirder movie. So I guess I could think, that didn't happen. But this is the type of movie that you kind of expect. The human characters are bland. They're boring. Tom and Jerry themselves, not that bad. I like what they did with Tom and Jerry, as in, I don't mind the way they look. Yeah, it's more the CG, 3D, animated. I was fine with it. The antics they went through seem reminiscent of the cartoons, where it's much more physical comedy. And when they were on screen, it was alright. It was alright when they were on screen. Aside from when they had to try to modern something where I'll make sure Jerry does the Matrix move, or make sure... what the fuck was it? Jerry was on a copy machine and at one point printed out his ass. Like him turn around with his ass out. Like, what? He wants people to fuck him? I don't think that was needed. And this is one of those films that it's lazy, it's lame. It's one of those films that has a hip soundtrack. Trying to be cool is the opposite. It's like a film from the mid-2000s. And I agree with a lot of people on here, including my friend Mike OCP. It does seem like a script that was dusted off in the mid-2000s. Maybe a few new coats of paint, and there you go. Because the plot is Tom and Jerry. Tom is playing the piano in the park. Jerry's an asshole. Frankly, I think Jerry is the bad guy in this, because he started it. He's a fucking asshole in this. Jerry the mouse. You know when something's bad? The first 2 minutes you have a fucking pigeon rap. 3 pigeons rapping. And 1 pigeon shits in the other pigeon's face. That's when the first minute of the movie. The first minute of the film. Animated CG pigeons come in rapping. And then one shits in the other's face. You may miss it, so if you ever see the film, when Michael Peña's name comes up, over here, like Michael Peña, that's when one shits in the other's face. And the rapping pigeons. That's why I wanted a Tom and Jerry movie. I didn't grow with Tom and Jerry. I've seen bits and pieces of them. I know who and what they are. I've seen a few clips here and there. But I wouldn't say I grew up with their cartoons vehemently. I wouldn't say I know a tremendous amount of their work. I saw the 90s animated film. I wasn't really a fan of that either. Honestly, I would rather watch this than that. What? Only because Tom and Jerry talking, that was even more weird. At least here, if you compiled just the Tom and Jerry stuff, the antics, even the ending where they're on the skateboard, it's an electronic skateboard, they use a drone, and pretty well done action scene with the way the camera moved. It's not a badly shot sequence. And that's the thing, when it's Tom and Jerry doing their thing, that's not bad. It's fine. Like, Tom is chasing Jerry among the hotel, and the way the camera's moving to climbing on the TV, then it's on the chandelier, and then Jerry dives like he's ready to go into the pool. It's not bad camera work. Again, the animation I don't mind. It's not 2D animation, but I don't mind the look of it. They don't make him talk, which is the right decision, although they make Tom sing. I forget who did in one scene, which I don't think that was needed. But, I mean, rapping pigeons... Like I said, Tom is playing the piano, minding his own business. And Jerry is the asshole saying, I'm gonna fuck with him. And yeah, he's trying... I guess technically he was being a liar as well, because he's like a blind cat, but he's not really blind. So I guess technically he's tricking people, but it doesn't seem like that's why Jerry wanted to stop him. It just, I want to be a dick, and I'm going to dance. And people are going to give me money. It's like, you do your own fucking thing, you little shit. So of course Tom chases Jerry. I'm like, I don't blame him. Again, when it's Tom chasing Jerry... That's the thing with this kind of movie, I should say these characters. I sit here and I go, what can you do with a Tom and Jerry motif as a movie? That's very hard. Because you have two characters that don't talk. You have two characters that... There's really not much to the characters. A cat chases a mouse. The mouse chases the cat. Mouse beats up the cat. Sometimes the cat captures the mouse. There's not much there to play with. So how do you make a movie where they are the focal point and they are the stars? That's why they always either make them talk, like that one movie, which... That made Tom and Jerry annoying in that movie. At least here, I don't find Tom and Jerry annoying. In that movie, I found them annoying. And here, they're just Tom and Jerry. Like, them talking, just got on my nerves. Just me. But, what can you do? And before I get into the film, I know, I kind of sat here and I went, what could you do with this? Maybe what you could do is have a film like Mouse Hunt. A film where maybe there's a guy living by himself in a house or a mansion, and almost maybe do like a comedy version of Unknown Origin, the film with Peter Weller. And you get like either a good comedian or a good, like, someone who knows how to do physical stunts. I'm not saying a Jackie Chan, but like you get someone who's really good, either in comedy and action or both. You have Tom, you have Jerry, and it's this whirlwind of one upping the other. Sometimes the human and Tom are chasing Jerry, or the human and Jerry are chasing Tom, and then Tom and Jerry are chasing the human. I don't know how you make that work. Maybe it's like an elevation. Well, I remember there's this one story that I think at one point Steve Martin wanted to do. It was a weird, simple story where it was him and this bee. And he was like trying to fight this bee, but it would make things worse and worse and worse, and the snowball effect. I did maybe similar to like Mouse Hunt or something of that nature, where it just keeps getting elevated more and more, and you just center these three, Or kind of like Peter Weller's Obsession with None of Unknown Origin, but even more of a comedy. I'm not saying that would work either. I'm just saying that would be more interesting to me. And then maybe at the end, they all become friends and actually have Tom and Jerry be friends. Not fake being friends. And then last bit, nope, they're not anymore. So it just undoes any amount of story, semblance, thimble of a story you're trying to do. Nah, they just run and try to kill each other again. So that even didn't matter. So actually, I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my fucking head. But these are writers that get paid for this, so they should know better, right? From the script they dusted off from 2004. The actual story, Jerry the Mouse gets into this hotel. Chloë Grace Moretz, she is a con artist, cons her way to getting a job at the hotel. Don't know. There's a plan for this high-profile wedding, and she's supposed to work with Michael Peña, who's a douchebag, one of the managers. Ken Jeong is in the film as his cook who yells a lot. And one thing leads to another, and they find out that there's a mouse, and Chloë Grace Moretz gets Tom to try to catch the mouse, catch Jerry. And there's just so much stuff of the humans of Chloë Grace Moretz, which I didn't give a shit about her character. I didn't give a shit about her con artist character. She was a fucking lying cheap shit. I didn't give a fuck about Michael Peña, who was bland and boring and blasé. And he does seem like at times he plays the same role over and over again. The lines of dialogue, like when Chloë Grace Moretz gets an earpiece, she's like, "That's a 10-4, good buddy. What is this, 19? Are you Smokey and the Bandit now? We're in the 70s now? Going to sing the lyrics to Convoy? Across the USA." I don't give a fuck about this high-profile wedding. I don't give a fuck about Chloë Grace Moretz talking good with the bride. I don't give a fuck about the hotel manager and the bride-to-be and the bride. I don't give a fuck about the wedding. I don't give a fuck about this hotel. This ain't fucking Dunstan Checks In, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then the couple-to-be, they bring... at least I'll give you this. They make it consistent that all the animals are cartoons. In a way, I do appreciate that. It might not seem much, it might not sound much, but a lot of times you get this weird thing where some are cartoons and some are real animals, and one, like Garfield. Remember Garfield the movie? Like, the cat is cartoon, but the dog, Odie, is a real dog. Like, so your mind's, even though you just let it go, it's just a movie, just whatever, but you're like, wait a minute, one's cartoon? At least like, fuck it, all animals are animated, and this is the world they're in. I actually buy it. Okay. Like the pigeons are animated. When animals are outside, they're animated. That we see in the outskirts. And even Spike the dog, which the couple to be owns. And then they also own this female cat. She's animated. At least that's consistent. But the lines of dialogue... Speak of that Spike the dog's growling, and the guy's holding it back, and he literally says, "I'm sorry, he's a little animated." You get it? Because he said it's a little animated, and he's animated. And again, it forces this hip soundtrack with a lot of lame rap songs, and that doesn't work for Tom and fucking Jerry. Just like these Tom and Jerry in the Hood, with the Crips and the Bloods. Is Jerry going to have a bandana, and Tom going to kill someone with Cat in the Hood, motherfucker? Says sniffing cocaine is catnip. Why don't you just do that, Robot Chicken style? Just go for it. Fuck's sake. Other stupid dialogue. She's trying to explain Jerry is like, I'm going to catch him. Her. I mean, maybe it's her. I mean, I'm not gender biased. Gives a fuck about gender bias. Who gives a shit? Even when Tom It's like angel and devil. They're talking, oh, my brother. Hey, my brother. And I'm like, okay. That's not the voice I would think of coming from Tom. Or I guess technically it's Tom's angel and devil, but okay. And this is references. I mentioned when Jerry's fighting Tom and the mouse does the Matrix thing. When Tom tries to get into the hotel, and one of the times he tries to get into, he makes these wings, and he does a Batman 89 joke when he goes up, and the wing by the moon, kind of when Batman put his plane up in Batman 1989, and then went down. Because all the kids are going to get that. All the kids remember Batman 1989. This is for us. But if you make it for us, why are you putting shit like, oh, Spike the dog ate too much burritos, so then Michael Peña has to take him out, and then Spike the dog stops in the middle of the street and shits in the street. Because that's what adults, I guess, want to see. Oh, but it's for kids. Oh, kids are going to understand dialogue like when Michael Peña is talking to Chloë Grace Moretz and going, you're one of those millennials that thinks that they can get what they want without working for it, preferably with free shipping. Is this an Amazon ad? You trying to get me by Amazon Prime with free shipping? Who talks like this? You're one of those millennials that thinks they can get what they want without working for it, preferably with free shipping. Who the fuck talks like that, even for a fucking Tom and Jerry movie? And what, Chloë Grace Moretz, I'm supposed to give a shit about her planning a party for a wedding for two dumbasses I don't give a shit about who don't get married. And Jerry took the engagement ring, and Chloë Grace Moretz trying to get it back. Tom tries to get it back. He just getting fucked up by Jerry. At one point, he thinks he captures Jerry, and literally Tom does this. He takes the hammer, turns it sideways, and does this. Does this. And you hear the sound of a mic drop. So literally, Tom does this and does a mic drop with a hammer. And you hear the sound of a mic drop. I'm like, these are lame, lazy, unfunny jokes. And this film felt long. I mean, this film is like an hour and 40 minutes. It felt like a movie that could not last 30 minutes, let alone an hour and 40 minutes. Tis Michael Peña, he gets fired, and then Chloë Grace Moretz gets upper management position. She says, Tom, Jerry, you guys gotta deal on. You guys go out there, which could create some fun stuff, Tom and Jerry having to deal on, but that's the part they rush. Oh, we'll take our sweet-ass time playing this fucking wedding we don't give a fuck about, where the guy wants these elephants and tigers and peacocks ready to fuck each other, which those are all animated. Not the fucking, but I mean like all the animals animated. What do I mean by that? Well, the peacocks are caressing each other, and then someone goes, oh, it's their time to blank and mate. So all these peacocks ready to fuck each other. Yeah, got the cock is right, I guess. Cock of the walk, more like it. Oh, let's take our sweet-ass time, but when Tom and Jerry, the stars of the movie, they don't go out into the fucking world, we'll rush that. How do they rush it? They're in a limo. Then they show a bunch of pictures on their phone. Oh, they were on a roller coaster. They were getting food. You know, we could see all this. Extend that. Don't fast forward through it. Oh, they're in a limo. Then they're showing pictures. Then they're at a fish place and Tom eats the fish. And then they're at a baseball game and they get caught, put in animal control. Then Michael Peña gets them both out. So they purposely fuck up this wedding. The wedding I don't give a shit about, and you don't give a shit about. Fuck the wedding. So the wedding gets fucked up. Chloë Grace Moretz gets fired. Tom and Jerry are sad. They decide to help out this girl. I don't know why they give a shit, but I guess they do. Oh, when things are going crazy at the wedding, the elephant talks and literally says, OMG. Is that a mouse? Yes, an elephant literally said, OMG. OMG. Well, if you want to have an CGI elephant say, OMG. You mean like, oh my god? No, you literally have to say, OMG. OMG, is that a mouse? Oh my god, man. Are you a fucking tweener on Twitter? Or a titter on tweener? Jesus Christ, man. What is this bullshit that needs to be in there? Give me a fucking break. Why do we need dialogue about gender biases? But then we also have jokes about 10-4 good buddy. Just, yeah, those are the same fucking spectrum of topics. 10-4 good buddy? Oh, gender bias and OMG. You don't want to talk about millennials, but then it's about Tom and Jerry, which the only people who know this are older people. Do you think little kids know who the fuck Tom and Jerry are? But that's the point. It's supposed to introduce them to a new generation. You know what? You could watch an old cartoon. It's not that dated. And it's 20... I don't even remember how long they are. They're pretty short, aren't they? Tom and Jerry, they're pretty fucking short. Should just made a short then. So then Tom and Jerry decide to help her out, and they need to get the bride-to-be who's leaving. She's in a vehicle. So Tom and Jerry, they get in this electronic skateboard. They're going down the road, and it's a fun scene. It's a fun scene because I like the way it's animated, the characters, the way it's filmed, going past the cars. You tell Tim Story maybe learned a thing or two a little bit from, he learned at least a thing or two from Fantastic Four when he made those movies. Because he feels the action scene not too bad. The way it's choreographed, and then Tom's on the skateboard, jumping over stuff with the skateboard. Jerry gets on the drone that Tom is controlling, all to get the attention of this bride-to-be. Granted, well, they do try to call. That's people are like, why don't you just call? Well, the guy does try to call, but then she... I'm like, someone else could try to call. Like, let me call. They won't know who I am. And I'll say it's I'll just lie. There's an emergency. You need to come back, please. Please come back. It's an emergency. Or, yeah, debit card here. You need to come back. Yeah, lady, you left your debit card here. You need to come back, please. Thank you. Like, someone else could call and make things easy, but what do I know? You need Tom and Jerry to do something. Again, some random person to be... I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because the bride-to-be and even the cat, they all look at their phone and they realize who's calling is the husband-to-be. Not going to talk to him. Well, hey, give the phone to, like, me. I go... Yeah, hello? Yes, ma'am, this is with the blah, blah, blah hotel. I believe you left your debit card here, and we need you to come back right away, because we don't want it stolen, and or a credit card, or, oh, yeah, ma'am, this is emergency. You need to come back right away. You need to come back right away. Just make up like the guy's dying. Oh, I'm sorry, he's having heart palpitations. Please, you need to come back. We need someone here with him. Please, please. She would do that unless she's an evil piece of shit. So, I mean... There's a whole... Well, granted, if they did that, then she would find out, what, you lied to me, you fuckers? So, I don't know, maybe that's the thing. It's like... At least with the debit card thing, that'd be an easy lie to get away with. But hey, want to give Tom and Jerry something fine. But at least, again, the way it's filmed, the way the camera work goes, it's not a bad scene. They brought to the park to get married. Chloë Grace Moretz gets her job back, which is weird because she was a fucking con artist. So the message and the moral should be, don't con people out of their fucking jobs. Because there's this other lady that could have gotten the job. You conned her out of the job, so you could take it. And it's like, Yeah, you did a good job. Now maybe the moral is she's gonna go to school because she really wants to do this. Or hey, go to school. When you come out of it, maybe call me contact me then. No, she gets the job back. She's perfectly fine. And Michael Peña, well, you fucked up the whole wedding. You did all this horrible shit. You ruined everything. You were an asshole at the beginning. You were an asshole in the middle. You're an asshole at the end. So what's your reward? You get to keep your fucking job because Chloë Grace Moretz goes, no, I'm not going to tell anybody. I know what you did, but I'm not going to tell anyone. And he's like, oh, thank you. What fucking message is that? Hey, you'd have to be an asshole. You fucked everything up. You ruined everything. You didn't really do anything to help the situation. You didn't do anything to unfuck the situation. But you still did your job and everything's okie-dokie hokey for you. And oh, Tom and Jerry, you think they're still... Oh, maybe they're friends? Nope, they go back. See, that's another thing they always do. They even did the 90s cartoon movie. You think they're friends, then they go back to square one, so nothing has changed, so it makes any semblance of development fucking pointless. Actually do a movie where there is some kind of ending. Then if you want to make another one, go ahead. But at least with that, there's an actual ending and they get along and boom. There's some kind of fucking accomplishment. Some kind of something has actually developed. I'm not saying it has to be... I'm not saying it has to be The Pianist. I'm not saying it has to be Glengarry Glen Ross or The Shawshank Redemption or Gandhi, Oscar-winning material, but a little something goes a long way. It really does. So, the fart jokes, the shit jokes, you get shit joke at the very beginning, pigeon shit, you got spite shit, you don't see the shit, but you hear him fart, and you see Michael Peña's reaction that he has to pick up the shit. You get a bunch of forced hip-hop music, trying to be hip soundtrack. You get lame jokes, again, about gender bias and dropping the mic and all this other crap. You get a boring, bland human characters you don't give an iota of fucks about. You're just waiting for Tom and Jerry to come back. And at least Tom and Jerry, I just say one of the few positives, it's not like they're just in it for 10 minutes. Oh, they're in it for 5 minutes, then 20 minutes they disappeared. No, it wasn't that way. They're in it quite a bit. But it should just be their movie. It's tougher. Like I said, it's very tough to make a movie with two characters that don't talk. That's why you have to have some talent. You have to get some talent to do it. If it's not easy, you have to actually work at it. You actually have to work at it. Again, I would like to see that idea. Get someone who we can really enjoy, either who's good at physical comedy or action or both. Tom and Jerry have, this. I even have the music in my head. In the Hall of the Mountain King. Like, that's the music I think would have fit better here. That old classical music that goes with these classical characters, not trying to force hip-hop music. Again, it's stuff you saw in the Smurfs, Alvin the Chipmunks, and so on and so forth. That's why I wasn't really that surprised. At least, again, positives. When Tom and Jerry are on screen, some of their antics were fine, physicality-wise. Some of the camera work, the action was fine, directorial-wise. And the way they look, they didn't try to make them real. Like Alvin the Chipmunks, when they try to make them real, like they're CG, but it's in the real world, like they're real animals. They didn't try to make a real cat, like Garfield. They tried to do that with Garfield, kinda. Well, like, I don't know what the fuck Garfield was, honestly. That's what I mean. I don't like this film, but I would put above the Smurfs, because the Smurfs themselves were annoying as fuck in those movies. I would put it above the Smurfs movies. I would put it above the Garfield movies. Because these look better, Tom and Jerry, visual-wise, than Garfield. Garfield looked putrid in his movies. And Tom and Jerry not talking actually made them more appealing and less annoying. So they didn't say stupid millennial garbage dialogue. So actually them not talking was a benefit in this case. So again, I didn't like the film, but it's not like a huge hatred. Do you understand? I seen Pocket Ninjas, Newty, Tina Mavar, Robo Vampire, Red Zone Cuba. I've seen some horrible shit just in the past month or two. Or three. Neil Breen movies. The Maze. M-A-I-Z-E. That's how it's spelled. The list goes on. When you see those films, Tom and Jerry is a walk in the park. And that's the thing, like, there's a lot of flaws in this, and it's not good, but it was still a walk in the park compared to fucking Newty and other stuff. What's Newty? Look up the trailer and, anyway. So it is what it is. Not a big fan of it. Can't even say it's the worst film I've seen this year, because I would still rather watch this than Coming to America 2. I really, truly would. But yeah, I would say this. Somewhere on YouTube, there will be someone that does a compilation of all the Tom and Jerry scenes. I guarantee you, someday, maybe after a while that the movie's been out, so they don't get taken down for copyright. But sooner or later, someone's going to put all those scenes together. Just watch that. Just watch that. It's fun. If you just watch that, combine it, time waster. With all the other stupid humans, stupid wedding, it's not Dunstan Checks In. As if anyone remembers that fucking movie. Michael Peña, boring. Chloë Grace Moretz, fire your fucking agent. Shadow in the Cloud, and this movie. You need to fire your fucking agent. Although I would still rather watch this than Shadow in the Cloud. Because Shadow in the Cloud was literally 40 minutes of girls suck. Yeah, girls suck my dick. Hey girl, you want to come up and suck my cock? That's literally half of Shadow in the Cloud. This wasn't that. So I would rather watch this than that. So Shadow in the Cloud, Tom and Jerry, and Coming to America 2 are the 3 films I've seen this year so far. And this is the least offensive. That fucking says something. See you guys later. Bye-bye.